This episode of St James's Pod is brought to you by Total Supplements. Visit their website totalsupplements.co to discover their range of nutritionist-tested supplements, gummies, shakes and natural extracts. From popular sports supplements like whey protein, creatine, vitamin tablets and powders to mental health supplements such as nootropics and mushrooms, they've got you totally covered. They also have men's health collection offering testosterone support and beauty supplements to keep you looking like your absolute best. I personally use Total Supplements products and I have been using them from before they came on board to sponsor the podcast, so I'm hugely excited to be partnering with a brand that I know and love. So whether you train hard, work hard or take an active interest in your overall health, use our code stjames'pod, that's stjamespod, for 25% off your entire order. The link's in the description. Support the podcast and visit totalsupplements.co now and tell them St James's Pod sent you. And we're back. Welcome to St James's Pod. This is the Liverpool preview. They're coming to St James's and we're going to absolutely turn them over, aren't we, lads? I'm here with Pete and Tom. What do you reckon?
I'm comfortable. Easy game.
We've, if you've just listened to the last episode, we've discussed what happened in the previous game where we went down to City. It wasn't the best performance. I personally think Eddie was a bit disappointed in the lads for not playing our game, being a little bit too respectful. So I feel like we're going to go absolutely all out in this game and it's going to be from the off, just absolute full press, full tenacity, and I think we're going to end up getting a few early goals. We'll come on to predictions a little bit later, but how do you see this one going in terms of the style of play? Do you think we'll be back to our usual style?
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Gotta be. Yeah.
I think we're gonna come out the blocks. We're gonna go straight for them. I think we're gonna target Trent, because I know how much of a liability he is. With Gordon running at him, Joe Linton teaming up if he starts. Obviously spoke about in the last part about maybe Anderson, but whether it's each one of them is, if we target that side, that we could be very dangerous. How quick we are down that left hand side. I think we're gonna go at them. I'm hoping for an early couple of goals in the first half.
Oh, definitely. I would like us to mimic the same tenacity we went with against Villa. And just mentioning, obviously, Liverpool having some midfield conundrums of their own. I know we mentioned the fact that our midfield didn't have the best of games against City, but Liverpool's midfield, they've obviously got McAllister unavailable, red carded from the.
They're appealing that.
There's an appeal. Yeah, there is an appeal, but well, look, I think if it happened to one of our players, we would be. I think it
seems
was
a bit harsh. Like
I haven't seen it, so I don't know what's happened.
I think if he's gone in to the challenge, his foot is slightly high and it's caught. The top of his studs have caught just above the shin. But I mean, he had eyes for the ball. There was no malice in it. It was just, if anything, it was just a tad late getting there and a bit mistimed.
Was it a straight red?
It was given as a straight.
It
was given as a straight red.
Yeah, but do you think it was a straight red?
I would have said that was a yellow card for me. If I know they're trying to clamp down on certain challenges that they deem to be dangerous over the ball type challenges, but there was no malice. It was just mistimed.
It wasn't reckless and out of control or anything, was it?
No.
And it wasn't massively studs up. It was because he went to play the ball. That it was just the way his leg carried through that his studs ended up into the shin. So it was definitely harsh, but I mean, it's obviously good for us if it doesn't get turned.
Well, you know what Liverpool are like though. They whinge about something and they normally get their own way with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if McAllister then becomes available. But if he's not, then again, this is a big opportunity for our midfield to, really take control.
Who did they bring on though? Gakpo?
when they went down.
Who
down to
didn't
10
Trent
men.
would if McAllister's suspended?
I think
Didn't Trent play in midfield against Bournemouth? Or was he right back?
No, I think he started as a right back.
He just plays that high, mate.
Yeah. It was Curtis Jones, I think, might have been involved at some point in the game.
He was
in midfield, and then Szoboszlai obviously was involved as well, and he was involved again in another incident in their game with shocking diving from him, and if he's trying that. If he's trying that at St James's, he's gonna get fucking laughed out of the place.
Exactly.
Because that was absolutely abysmal from him.
Do you think he'll get booed? Because we obviously tried to sign him. I say trying to sign him. There was interest, but no one our lot will boo him.
Aye, he'll probably get booed, but then he'll get booed for like everybody's watched the highlights back of that, and none of our fans like that sort of behaviour. So like, he probably get a few boos. Like there'll be a few of them targeted.
I know. You're not good. I think it's going to be one of them games. Paige, you'll know this, when we kick off 5 minutes in, as soon as Alisson gets the ball, the whole crowd's booing. And just wanting them to make a mistake.
And
I think it's going to be one of them.
As soon as a heavy challenge from one of our players goes in, and the crowd are absolute, the feeling when St James's is
going to get meaty,
for it. When a hefty challenge goes in, win the ball, and the crowd are absolutely baying for blood, and that is the sort of feeling that I think we'll get from that. Obviously, they'll remember how last season's game went with the Pope incident, and just how crap that game ended up turning out to be for us. I feel like the fans will want vengeance on that from that performance. So it's gonna be electric.
So let's talk about who we think is going to get the nod from Eddie then, because obviously in the last episode we kind of talked about players who didn't have the best performance and players off the bench who did come in and look good. But if we start from the back, we've got to kind of presume that the back five will be the same, because even against City, they for me, all of them played well. We really stopped them from having too many clear-cut chances. Obviously, the two centre-backs were both amazing, so are we all in agreement that that'll be first names on the team sheet, done deal?
Yes.
Or do you think there's a chance Livramento might come in? Or
just to jump in, I think Livramento's on the right, but I think Lewis Hall will sign this week. That'll give us our left-back option if needed.
Do you think if he signs, there's a chance he starts?
No, not at all.
No, he won't start. But I'd like to
be on the bench.
He'd be on the bench is a big plus. I really like Lewis Hall, and he was on. I didn't talk about in the last part, but he was at the City game as well. So hopefully he's seen a bit of quality. I know it wasn't the best game, but
put him off.
I hope he hasn't got the first train back to London. But, it'll be good. I think he'll sign this week. Don't feel like there's any reason why he wouldn't sign this week, so it'll be good to see him on the bench. But back to the team lineup. I personally don't think it changes.
The defence is going to be the same. Midfield, I know we mentioned that there's potential there for the left side of that midfield in Joelinton that could be at risk. I don't know if he will. I know I was saying it would be a big statement in the last pod for Eddie to make that call, but I don't know. I want him to personally. I think it's now. These are the moments where you need to be confident in your squad and say, right, okay, let's you've not had the best of game. We're going to give somebody else a fair chance, and let's throw Anderson in. I want him to, but I don't know whether or not he'll be swayed.
Does that then
by
knock Joe Linton if he does that? Because he's had a little bit of a poor game, right? You're off. Does he give him another chance to redeem himself? If he plays bad again, right, now you switch it up.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, it could knock him, and we know, like, we've seen Joe Linton's form like go skyrocketing, and we don't want to ever see him get back to the levels he was under Bruce. Like, you know, God forbid he gets back down to them levels again. And you wouldn't want him to, like, just, you know, go within himself, like, if he was to be dropped, and then you know, that's him falling off a cliff type thing. Of course, we don't want to see that, but I do think that Eddie should be sort of looking at those moments and saying, like, and you got players there just should be knocking on his door, being like, look, give me that opportunity. I'll prove to you. And or you know, fair enough, Big Joe might be going to him and apologising, like, this week, and being, you know,
had a bad game.
Sorry, Gaffer, I had a bad game. I'm you know, just trust me on this one. I'm going to come out and be, like, next level again.
Be showing in training, like, he's absolutely on it, couldn't he? To be fair, but I've got a feeling Anderson started this fixture last season, because wasn't it him who got pulled when Pope got sent off?
I think
was Bruno not injured?
He was suspended,
he was
wasn't he?
suspended, yeah.
Suspended, was he? Right.
Yeah.
Played well as well,
obviously,
if I remember rightly.
No, he was lively.
I think he had a good game.
So, I mean, obviously there was reasons for it, but Eddie trusted him last season, so I don't know, could be Anderson. I wouldn't mind it, to be honest. I'd quite like it, but I think Joe Linton gives a bit more defensively, doesn't he? So if I put money on it.
The thing that is keeping on the midfield, with Anthony Gordon having the whole Everton history, Everton fan, and obviously being a little bit reckless against Man City, does he start against Liverpool?
I did think this, and you know, you want players, for me, like, okay, right, take it back a step here, and, like, when it's a derby for us, when it's Newcastle against Sunderland, we want Newcastle players, like, people born in Newcastle, playing in that fixture, because we just know it means more. So in some respects, like, would you not argue that with Gordon, because of his history, that he knows it means more? He would love
aggression.
He'd love, like, channel it in the right way. Of course, we don't want to, like, see him where he was.
That's the thing. He's a bit young and a bit rash, isn't he? So that's the levels, isn't it? You don't know how to judge it. Then if you bench him, he's like, "How I'm well up for this week." It's a very hard one with Gordon. I think a very hard decision.
I was wondering whether to start him on the right, because Miggy had a bad game. Murphy, I don't know if he's going to be, like, ready to start after just having his kid and stuff. Like, I don't know if his head's going to be in the right space.
He didn't give birth to it, mate.
I don't know. He's a talented man, isn't he, Tom?
Yeah,
can do anything that
I wouldn't put it past him. But
we can start. We could start Gordon on the right, and then Barnes on the left.
You're right. I mean, I don't know if that's too big a tactical risk against Liverpool to. I mean, we haven't seen much of Gordon playing in that right position, right hand side, to make it a worth trying it out against Liverpool in a big game.
Have we seen Gordon, like, swap mid game with anyone? Well, obviously Miggy. I don't know if he's done it with Maxi. He might have done it with Maxi when he was here last season. Don't know if they've, like, swapped.
Can't
recall seeing Gordon on the right, and obviously with right footed, it makes sense. But obviously we know he likes cutting in. That's the whole thing with wingers these days. If the opposite side's cut in, But just with what Sam was saying there, I can't remember if I've ever seen Gordon on the right.
No. Have we've seen him drop into midfield, haven't we? But like into centre midfield, but not moved. I can't recall him being on the right hand side for any length of time. But it's an option, but it's one I wouldn't necessarily think, unless we were really struggling injury wise, that we would take a risk on in such a big game. Like maybe try it in a cup game or something, just to tweak and mess about.
Who would you guys start on the right hand side then?
Miggy. Like, I know he didn't have the best of games, but he's I think he looks like, I don't know, at home games, I don't know, he's something about like St James's seems to get the better out of him. So I think maybe Miggy be up for it. And again, just going back to what I was saying about Big Joe, like I reckon Miggy's been Eddie like this week, just saying like apologies and like, you know, maybe just sort of getting extra coach. And he seems like one who, you know, if things haven't gone well, that he is one to own up to it and want to make amends for it, and do the extra graft in the training to accommodate for it. So I think I'd just go with giving Miggy the benefit of the doubt and chance to bag again.
I think you'll need to keep an eye on the fucking overlap. Like, simple as that. Yeah,
I don't know how much Miggy kind of absorbs these sort of tactics and that. Like, I was just thinking, in the documentary, it was funny when Byrne gave that like speech before the final, and everyone was sat listening, and then like you saw like on the camera, you saw Miggy in the background. I was thinking, he doesn't have a fucking clue what he's saying.
Nah,
just sat there smiling.
It's quite poor though, isn't it? Because when he's speaking about me, I know it's just slightly off topic, but you like so Bruno and Joe Linton, and even there's talks of Tonali who've learning the language quite quickly. Bruno's fluent in it now, and Bruno learning in it has made Joe Linton, because Joe Linton was the same, he didn't speak English, but he's now talking it, and from what I've heard, Tonali is. Miggy hasn't really done that. Whenever he gets interviewed, he never speaks English, which makes us think that, for me, that's not really, it's not dedicated, but I don't know, is it professional? I don't know. Should be learn the language. So purely for them reasons, the communication and stuff like that, the likes of Dan Burn making that speech, Miggy's sitting there going, what's this fucking lad talking about, like? But there was a thing on obviously Wilson's podcast that he's done, that he does with Antonio, and Wilson actually came out and said that Miggy has told them that Miggy listens to that podcast to try and understand the language in the more, not slang, but the more casual English, if you like. So he knows what they're talking about in the changing room and stuff like that, which is good. Like, if he's doing that, he's making an effort to, because I mean, I wouldn't go and listen to a podcast from Paraguay, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have a bloody clue.
Nah, that's
it's a good thing. I mean, it wouldn't surprise
again,
if you had subtitles on for it to understand it, like, so you're not actually learning anything.
Subtitles on a podcast is going to be a bit difficult, like, but
well, you know. Yeah. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, mate. Never mind.
I wonder if, like, what the sort of, again, we're going a bit off topic, but like, where's like Miggy's sort of friendship group within like the squad kind of thing? Because obviously
very paleo Manquillo, isn't he?
Oh, is he fair? I don't often see, like, obviously we know Bruno and Joe Linton are just like, you know, best of pals, and like you see the other, like, there's pockets of like the other lads who all knock about, but I always just wondered with Miggy, like, what kind, if he just felt a bit on his own with things. But like, yeah, I didn't realise he, like, him and Manquillo were.
They speak Spanish in Paraguay. It is
Yeah.
Spanish, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously Manquillo was Spanish, and he was also very pally with Federico Fernandez when he was here. Who was
Yeah.
Argentinian, was he?
Yeah, he was Spanish speaking as well.
So
but we don't
it's-
have many other Spanish
Exactly.
speakers now.
I've
apart
seen things
from
on Instagram
Chips
though with...
speaks Spanish, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's true.
Whether he's lost it a bit or not, I don't know. But
Yeah. Well,
I think that's
Tivo,
what really helped Miggy.
Going to say about
When,
the team.
yeah, go on.
Sorry, mate. Go on. I'm just completely blanking you out.
No, you're
Sorry,
alright.
mate.
I was just going to say how when Trippier came in, it helped Miggy out, and I think part of that was because he could speak to him on the pitch in Spanish. But
Is he
yeah,
that
about the
fluent in
team.
it? Like, is he?
Well, yeah, he had to, didn't he?
Well,
that
2
like
years,
what you're saying
wasn't he,
with
there?
with the professionalism. Obviously, you know
Aye, but
how professional Trips is.
How long's Miggy been here to speak English? 7 years.
Don't know about 7 years,
Can't
like, but
You can't even say hello.
he says why I'm man.
Just waves. And even then,
Just smile away.
you don't know if he's saying goodbye. Hello.
Yeah, Mickey's getting dug out here for no reason.
Not
Miggy's
even
the
for his
new Murphy.
football either.
Aye.
Poor lad. But,
Well, I mean, yeah.
Back to the team. I think Wilson starts.
Really?
Purely
Why?
because I just think he'll change it up. Simple as that. We were talking about it. I mean, it jogs my memory because I was watching the documentary over the weekend, and they were talking about obviously last season when Isak started. It started falling into place for him, and it was he had a very tough choice who to pick. And when he played them both together against Southampton, and they played really well. I mean, I thought he was going to do it against City. I thought he was going to bring Wilson on. They'll play together against City, but he didn't, obviously. But Wilson came on, like we spoke about, made a difference against City. So does he switch it up? I think he might switch it up, and I think Wilson starts. So I don't think there's going to be much change in midfield. And I think if there's a change, it's Wilson for Isak.
I wouldn't be against it, and I know I said at the start of the season on the Villa preview that I was quite keen for Wilson to start that game. Obviously, hindsight, Isak goes and has a really good game, but obviously Wilson comes on and does his bit as well. But the reason why I wanted Wilson to start that game just because of his physical presence and, like, you know, rough up the centre halves a little bit. Yeah, why not? Like, Van Dijk, if you're gonna, you know, give him a difficult game, put somebody up against him who's gonna, you know, really, be
Even
tough.
so, start them both.
You could, but then, like that would obviously mean either.
That's when Miggy gets dropped. Miggy gets dropped. Isak goes right. Wilson through the middle.
I wouldn't know if Isak would go right though, because I think they'd rather him cutting in off the left onto his right.
Yeah, true.
Bit like kind of the way in which we had that period against Everton last season away, where we had Isak dancing down the left side and Wilson was playing through the middle and just dominated. But there's bags of options in there. But I wouldn't be against Wilson starting.
I think I'd start Isak. Like, I think with the big games, the bigger teams, I think Isak's we're number one striker. So I think he starts, and then Wilson we'll probably see him start against some of the teams lower down, I would imagine. But interesting. I just can't think what we're going to do on the right. I know you guys are saying Miggy, but I think it's just going
to be Miggy.
Yeah, but what does that say to Murphy though?
Did he have a bad game against Villa though?
No,
Miggy.
No.
Exactly.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I guess it's only one bad
the European
game.
champions. It's the same thing what with Joe Linton. I mean, if he's had one poor game against the European champions, one of the best teams in the world, didn't actually do anything wrong, bar kept cutting inside and running into trouble. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like he kept losing the. Well, I say losing because he was losing the ball, but like it was just bad decision making.
But like that is his game, Miggy, and it works against probably over 70% of the teams in the league. There's probably a few teams where him just repeating the same thing over and over is just not going to work, and one of those teams is City, who just know how to get around your game plan pretty quickly.
That's the frustrating thing though, isn't it? You know what he's going to do. It
is, but then there's like the patch of form he was in last season where everything was just flying in, like even though you know what he's going to do it and the defenders know he's going to do it, if he's like quick and on it, and like you mean some of the goals, like I think I remember the one last season against Villa at home, I think, like where he cut in and like just whipped it top corner, like that's
it's in his locker,
like,
isn't it?
It's in his locker, and if that's the thing, like he'll probably do it 5 times, 4 times will just be easily cut out by the defender or not, but like that 5th time he just gets it and the defender feints, goes the wrong way, Miggy cuts in, left foot opened up and like gets a sighted goal. So that's what you put him in the team for. And alright, City, like I say, they know what they're doing when it comes to like defending against people like that. Their defenders are just that good, whereas some of the other teams in the league, you will be better than their defenders and you'll get away with it more. Not saying that obviously he's gonna just have a walk in the park against Andy Robertson in this Liverpool game, but I think he could get some opportunities, some favours, especially if Robertson's bombing forward like he is known for down that Liverpool left, that there might be gaps open there for Miggy.
Fair enough. What we're saying then in terms of predictions?
Ooh. I know we were getting giddy at the start of this and saying we're gonna absolutely smash him. I'm confident. No, I'm confident. I think we can get. I'm gonna go 3-1 Toon.
I'm going 2-1. I think Salah will make a goal.
Oh, he's always in there for a goal. I was thinking he would be the one who scores.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I don't think they're going to score.
Really?
I think it's going to be 3-0.
Oof.
Yeah, I reckon.
Take that.
I reckon this week after the City defeat, I think this week in training is going to be really tough. But they're all going to be like buying into it and giving everything. And I think we will come out the blocks. We'll end up getting a couple in the first half, and then 3-0. Come on.
Can't wait.
Right.
Love it.
Well, that was the Liverpool preview. I mean, I hope we're right because we've all predicted a win again.
We don't predict losers. You don't predict losers, Jordan Kerr. We don't predict losers.
Yeah, that's why you're not
see
allowed.
What happens when you predict a loss. You're not
allowed. You're rooted. Get
Right, well, if you enjoyed the episode, please do hit the like button on it. It helps us out with the algorithm. You can follow the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.